This is not the future. This is the present. Drones have become a game-changing weapon. In this film, you will learn how drones have become the new eyes, brains, and even fists of modern warfare. The first unmanned aerial vehicles appeared in the arsenals of the world's armies more than 100 years ago. It was then that the term drone appeared, meaning a male bee. But today, unmanned aerial vehicles play a decisive role in warfare. They have changed the very nature and principles of war, its depth, pace, and precision. The first conflict in which drones were used en masse was the 2020 war in Nagorno-Karabakh. Azerbaijan effectively used Bayraktar TB2 and kamikaze drones. Convoys of equipment, air defense systems, and even fortifications were all destroyed from the air, without any risk to pilots. It was a demonstration of the future of warfare. But the Russian-Ukrainian war since 2022 is the first large-scale conflict in which both sides are using unmanned systems on a massive scale, on land, in the air, and at sea. This is a new type of warfare, fast, accurate, technological, and almost contactless. An unmanned system is not just a device. It is a single combat complex consisting of an unmanned platform, airborne, ground-based, maritime, a control system, operator or AI, sensors, cameras, navigation, a communication channel, and often a combat payload, explosives, missiles, electronic warfare. Classification by application environment. Aerial, unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. Ground, unmanned ground vehicle, UGV. Marine, unmanned surface vehicle, USV. And unmanned underwater vehicles, UUV. Classification by purpose. Combat. Striking systems. Barrage ammunition. FPV drones. Kamikaze drones. Combat support. Reconnaissance. Artillery reconnaissance. Engineering. EW. Interceptor drones. Control and communications. Communication systems. Relays. Correctors. Logistics. Transport. Evacuation. Multipurpose. Classification by application level. Tactical, up to 30 kilometers. Operational, 30 to 200 kilometers. ABUS, strategic, more, 200 kilometers. At the beginning of the war, Ukraine relied on mass-produced, cheap, flexible systems. Systems inherited from the Soviet army were often used. UAVs were mainly used for reconnaissance and artillery correction. Then, they were used as strike systems. FPV drones with explosives became the main, precision, weapon of the infantry. Reconnaissance drones, such as the Leleka 100 and Furia, allowed artillery to be corrected with an accuracy of up to 1 meter. Bayraktar TB2 demonstrated the ability to conduct operations at the operational level. Kamikaze drones such as Lancet, became the enemy's response. In 2023, naval drones appeared, attacking the Russian Black Sea Fleet and destroying bridges. Ground platforms transport ammunition and wounded soldiers under fire. UAVs strike targets deep in the rear. This is a strategic function. Unmanned systems operate on the front lines around the clock, in any weather. They have become indispensable at every level, from the trenches to the general staff. War has become multidimensional. Land, air, and sea now operate in sync. Unmanned systems are the eyes of the commander, the weapons of the infantryman, and the shield of the equipment. War no longer looks like a column of tanks marching. Now it is a war of tablets, unmanned systems, and precision strikes. Drones have allowed Ukraine to compensate for the lack of heavy equipment. They make the soldier the eyes in the sky. Even a single drone can stop an attack, disable equipment, and destroy a warehouse. Unmanned systems reduce human casualties and increase efficiency. Today, unmanned systems are no longer an auxiliary tool, but a key component of combat operations. Their role is clearly defined at 3 levels of warfare. At the tactical level, drones perform reconnaissance, fire correction, precision strikes against equipment, weapons, and personnel, deliver ammunition, and evacuate the wounded. They make it possible to destroy targets without personnel losses. At the operational level, drones detect and destroy AA systems, headquarters, communication nodes, warehouses, and reserves. They disrupt coordination and logistics between enemy units and the rear. They violate the integrity of the enemy's groupings. At the strategic level, unmanned systems strike critical infrastructure. Bridges, ports, factories, air bases, and command centers. They allow strategic pressure to be exerted, and the course of the war to be changed. The current trend in the development of unmanned systems is a transition to autonomy, swarm behavior, and artificial intelligence. Units receive complete systems, from drones to control and maintenance points. The future lies in integration and speed of response. In line with current requirements, the organizational structures of military formations have undergone changes. A separate branch of forces has been created in the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Unmanned Systems Forces. Each brigade has UAV units, and regiments and brigades of unmanned systems have been formed. To develop the best and scale up effective unmanned systems units in different branches and types of troops, the Drone Line Project initiative is being implemented. In order to improve the efficiency of unmanned systems units management, a group of unmanned systems forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has been created in Ukraine. It has united all military units of unmanned systems forces and drone lines. For the first time, the units will operate within a single vertical command structure, with a defined structure, clear interaction, and a common vision of drone tactics. This will ensure the implementation of unified approaches, coordinated actions, and a more systematic combat use of unmanned systems. In Ukraine, there are hundreds of manufacturers of the Remontny Bazy pilot school. This is the technological army of the future. Today, more than 170 models of unmanned systems have been adopted and are used by the defense forces on the front lines. These are air, sea, and ground drones manufactured by Ukrainian companies. Among them are UAVs for reconnaissance and artillery fire correction in the tactical zone, Furia and Valkyrie. Operational Tactical Reconnaissance Unmanned Systems, Shark and Leleka 100, capable of performing tasks in the sky for up to 4 hours. unmanned aerial vehicles for reconnaissance, follow-up reconnaissance, and specialized tasks behind enemy lines, Gorlitsia and Sich. PD-2 and Raybird 3, long-range reconnaissance unmanned aerial systems. They can stay in the air for up to 28 hours and cover distances of up to 2,500 kilometers. Multi-purpose reconnaissance and strike systems for aerial reconnaissance and combat use as a carrier of bomb loads and missiles. UJ-22 airborne and Sokol 300, VG-26 Bomber and AN-196 Liuti kamikaze drones. They can cover distances of up to 1,000 kilometers with a combat load of up to 75 kilograms. Vampire and Kazan bombers, which can carry up to 15 kilograms of ammunition. They intimidated the occupiers so much that they gave them the nickname Baba Yaga. Barrage munitions, Grim and Bulava, which can strike the enemy at a distance of up to 30 kilometers with thermobaric, fragmentation, high explosive, and cumulative munitions. Zigzag and Bessemer 3,210 interceptor drones for aerial patrol and precision strikes against enemy air targets. The Zigzag is equipped with a 4-barrel shotgun to combat enemy drones. FPV drones, KHS-7 and Hijak Ribov. These are Ukrainian analogues of the well-known Mavic. The Hijak Ribov is a fiberglass drone and therefore resistant to enemy electronic warfare measures. Maritime unmanned systems. Magura and Sea Baby unmanned surface vehicles. Those that keep the Russian Federation's Black Sea Fleet in Novorossiysk Bay in fear. Marichka and Toloka series unmanned underwater vehicles. Capable of striking enemy ships and coastal fortifications, as well as being used for cargo transport and reconnaissance. Ground-based strike robotic systems. The Moros reconnaissance and strike system, and the ironclad drone with the Shablia combat remote module. They can be equipped with various weapons, such as machine guns, grenade launchers, anti-tank missiles, and other types of weapons. Engineering robotic systems. The Zmia ground-based demining drone and the Gulliver remote mining system. These are capable of remotely demining an area or installing explosive engineering barriers without risking the lives of sappers. Unmanned logistics platforms that deliver ammunition and evacuate the wounded under fire. The Termit ground drone, equipped to evacuate the wounded from the battlefield. And the Stockheed robotic platform for the safe delivery of cargo. The successful use of unmanned systems has not only given Ukraine a tactical advantage, it has influenced the course of the entire war. One of the first long-range operations was the strikes on the Diaghilevo and Engels air bases. Soviet Strij UAVs, converted for the new war, were used to carry out these strikes. This was followed by systematic drone attacks on air defense systems, headquarters, warehouses, and military facilities deep behind enemy lines. The Crimean Bridge, oil depots in Novorossiysk, Ilsk, and Tuapse became symbols of the new strategy to strike at critical infrastructure and paralyze logistics. Strikes on Russian military-industrial complex enterprises slowed down the production of UAVs, missiles, and electronics. Marine drones forced the Russian Federation's Black Sea Fleet to flee Sevastopol. The fleet effectively lost its combat capability. In June 2025, the SBU carried out a unique operation called Spider's Web. 5 air bases deep inside Russia were simultaneously attacked from mobile platforms. More than 40 aircraft were destroyed, a third of the enemy's strategic aviation. On the front lines, FPV drones became smart bullets. They destroy enemy equipment, targets in shelters, and commanders. In the summer of 2023, it was drones that stopped armored breakthroughs in Zaporizhia and Donetsk regions. And in December 2024, near Liptsy, the Ukrainian military conducted its first robotic ground attack. Instead of infantry, they used unmanned ground strike systems and FPV drones. The war of the future is already here. Whoever controls the air, not necessarily with planes, but with eyes, minds, and precision, has the initiative. Ukrainian drones are a symbol of our resilience, creativity, and technological superiority. and they are already making history.